So episode four finally just came out because I was waiting for the uncensored version to basically come out based on what this anime of the girl's cat is an X-rank monster. X S-rank monster, not X-rank, S-rank. And so yeah, this episode was kind of a little fun, kind of a little fun to see and stuff like that. And basically got to know like who's the person was based in the last episode of the dragon Toma that Tobin has faced was basically a girl who is basically a dragon, which that her name is Stella. Now they basically some of the other people gave it to her, gave her the name Stella. I think it's from one of the stars up in the heavens or something like that. I'm not really actually sure. I really do not know or anything like that. I think Stella is a pretty much basically really good. It's a really good name for her. For the Earth Dragon, I would say basically as yes. I don't think the Earth Dragon is not really basically easily basically defeated like basically some people may think that he's really actually basically that she's really actually just being defeated. I don't think it's really not just that. I think that basically to me is that Toma is basically a cat. He's kind of reminds me of that anime, that reincarnation as a slime, being reincarnated as a slime. Reincarnated as a slime is a very unique story, really. It actually is, because even when you watch the first couple of the episodes, where he basically absorbs these kind of things because he's a slime, and he can pretty much use almost anything that he really wants to make himself very. I'm not very vulnerable, but make himself very powerful, make himself very strong, and he would just basically just like he was just basically just pretty much almost anything, but he can make things also well too that can really help him also well too. I don't believe that the anime slime is this better than this anime? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so because that anime slime it does have a unique characteristics based in the anime, and it really does. This really does. But I willing to say I think that with the elf anime, it's some scenes like more likable than the slime. I definitely would basically would say because in regards to fan services and stuff like that, and basically yeah. So don't get me wrong. I think the reincarnation as a slime, I think it's a very fun anime to watch. I think it really actually has a pretty good storyline, has a very good, very good interactions with characters and stuff like that. And I think it really does. And I definitely do like it really a lot, but I haven't seen really much to it basically going out or basically rewatch it. If I do want to rewatch it, oh my god, I probably would, but I don't know if I really would or not. I don't know. But I think that the Elf anime is something is like I said before, it's something basically something to enjoy basic watching is also as well too. Now, one thing I do want to mention that Tobin is just a kid. That's all he really actually is. He's just a kid, because he's learning like different spells and stuff like that, whatever that he really wants to do. Now, when you level up, you basically get a new spell, or maybe that you don't, or maybe or not. Because when you look in your book, when you look at a book, let's say World of Warcraft, for example, World of Warcraft will basically would just tell you if you look inside the book and all the different other attacks and stuff like that, cooldowns, whatever that you have in your spell book, that spell book would pretty much would basically will help you out to decide what spells that you really definitely do want. Now there's also a basically a skill tree. A skill tree is basically whatever what challenge that you really do want. But you have to be very cautious about like what you really want to do because usually sometimes people don't follow like other different examples and stuff like that because then you got like all different kinds of people that are pretty good with like being a warrior, druid, feral, cat, whatever you want to call it, or paladin, or a warrior, or monk, or uh, whatever that you really do want, whatever that you really do want. But I think it shows a very good example when it comes to the anime bases like this. But even though basically with the cat with Timotoma, basically that's for him, I think he would be considered probably kind of like a feral kind of situation, a little bit like a feral kind of situation. I definitely think so. I definitely think so because, like I said before, he's at that certain level where he levels up and he gains that ability. So, like I said before, when it comes to World of Warcraft, like I said before, when you have your spell book, it will tell you what level you're supposed to get that. Sometimes you may not get that. Sometimes you may do get that. Sometimes, like when you like I said, when you do level up, you get a point. points are pretty much that basically helps from your skill tree, which that you basically have two skill trees that you basically do have. The first skills tree is basically the one that um, for your warrior or for your whatever it is, and then you also have another one that is basically I can't remember so I can't remember it. But anyways, as I was saying before, like I said, you have different skill trees that you basically do have, and you also have like different spells that can basically help you out in the future, but not sometimes, but not all different of the spells that can help you out. But like I said before, that's why you have to be very careful about like what kind of what kind of talents that you want to pick for in your skill tree, and that can really basically help you out. Sometimes when you mix something up with the other different one, it doesn't really basically seem like it's a really good thing. But you also have different kind of specs as well too when it comes to PVE. PVE is basically like regardless based off mythic or basically just doing raids and stuff like that. People don't like doing PvP because they like to do raids. And then when you come to PvP, that's kind of like for a younger audience, for people that really actually like PvP, because they seem to be very skilled in that kind of area because they don't have that luxury that they really don't know really all that much when it comes to PvE. Because usually when you have people do PvE, they really don't care for raiding. Sometimes they do, sometimes they really don't. It just depends on different kind of people that really actually want to do that. Now, to be honest with you, based with me, I'm not really the biggest fan of PvP anymore because I really don't care for it really all that much. Because I really want to go into something I feel more enjoyable for my time and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I'm saying all this, because just to see from Tomino, like I said, for having that spell book that he has and looking over those spells and saying like yeah, this is really basically really happened. What one thing that he has to remember is basically that I think that the spell that had turns him into Bahamut, it has a cooldown. Means that it has a cooldown, because you have to remember, once you activate that cooldown, activate that the spell to activate that cooldown, you have to wait a certain amount of minutes for it to come right back up. But there's a problem with that also too, because if you get yourself caught into a middle that where you cannot be able to defeat the enemy, then most likely that yeah, you're gonna die, because you have to remember, because the spell will say it can only last for 15 seconds or 30 seconds or anything like that. That can basically really happen. Take as a difference as for take as for a difference as a Death Knight. A Death Knight can pretty much unleash his army, which is basically one of them. I think it's one of the most powerful ones. I definitely just think when it comes to unholy Death Knight, because he can use that army for 30 seconds, and with that army that he has, that can really basically help him out. Does it help him transform into to basically no, it just usually just helps him out in whatever case that he's in. Sometimes they're using the undead of the army, that could be for PVE, or that could be for PvP. It just really just depends on the spectrum, that something that you really that you really definitely do want. So yeah, that's what I definitely do think. And I really do hope that people would just. I mean, people don't have to take my opinion or not. That's perfectly fine with me. But I'm just saying, just like I see from Tom from my experience, from him, he has to learn to use that spell more properly. But if he used that spell too much, way too much, then he probably won't know what to do. So he has to learn like how to use the spell properly and not have to waste it. Because if you waste it, like I said before, you're putting yourself into the grave, and you're probably gonna die. Not for life, for example. I'm talking about in the game. And so yeah. But yeah, anyways, I guess that's it for this video. Tell me what you guys think. You guys like this episode? You guys think it was good? You guys think it was bad? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hope you have a fun day. Take care. God bless. I love you. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.